So, welcome back to another episode of Nisemonogatari. So, in the previous episode, a lot of things happened. Like, a lot. We had a lot of display on display. So, first of all, let's talk about Karen. So, Karen got afflicted is a better word. Afflicted by an oddity when she was trying to basically suss out some of the things happening with the curses, which is kind of a direct callback to, of course, or not even a callback, but just a tie-in to the entire Nadeko situation that was happening. That was obviously still very much unfinished, and now we're finally going back to it. People are still doing the curses or casting the curses or whatever you want to call it. And of course, Karen, Tsukihi, and also Hanekawa are trying to stop that. Especially Karen and Tsukihi with Hanekawa's help. With Hanekawa's help, basically. So that was a really interesting situation, because Araragi definitely he's very worried about them, right? Obviously, he's their brother. He cares a lot about them, like a lot. And we could see that, and it was really cool. And his entire mentality with what makes a hero is really interesting, because obviously a hero without, or like a person that wants to do the correct thing without any strength, it's hard to call him a hero. You're a hero when you achieve something, and you can't achieve much without strength, right? Granted, I don't think that Araragi's perspective of a hero is also very, I don't want to say correct, because it's obviously such a subjective thing, because a hero is, in my opinion, not just someone who has the strength, right? It's someone who both has a mentality of doing something right, but also has the strength to back that mentality up, right? Which I'm sure that's what Araragi meant, but he said that a hero is someone who has strength, period. That's it. Whereas, what's her name? Karen said that, or not said, but her mentality is a hero is someone who does the right thing, right? So there's a big disparity between the two. I feel like a hero usually is someone who has both, but yeah, it's an interesting argument that they had there. And then obviously we had Hanekawa talking to Araragi, and the main thing there was one thing that was kind of sad to me, more so than anything else, was Hanekawa being so surprised that they have actually a really good relationship between the siblings, right? She, like, the way that it was so alien to her that a family can have this kind of a good dynamic between them, that was a really sad realization, because obviously Hanekawa's family, we know how her situation is like, and it's a tough one. So also, she completely changed her look, by the way, completely. And it was only acknowledged in like at the end of the episode, in like the post episode ramblings, the thingy, and also like I think it was in like some short snippets where that was actually acknowledged that she completely changed her look. I'm guessing she has contact lenses now. She cut her hair. She's completely different. I didn't recognize her until she started speaking in the previous episode. So yeah, another thing is then, of course, the main thing, if you will, the Shinobu scene. The best scene with Shinobu was absolutely crazy. And I was thinking throughout that scene, imagine watching that without watching Nisemonogatari. How much of a different experience it must have been. Definitely not a bad one, because I did see a comment talking about how interesting of an experience it was without knowing the context of Nisemonogatari if you're watching it while it was airing. And I definitely don't think it was a bad experience, but I definitely do think it was a very different experience. It would have been a lot more of a mystery, right? Because you would see this character that has been completely mute for this past season and a half, almost. And they suddenly start being extremely talkative and saying, yo, I've been kind of bored of not talking, so let's talk again like we used to. And you would be like, what's happening? And then especially with the thing at the end, talking about, you know, their codependency? No, toxic relationship? You know what I mean. Their entire mentality of killing one another and stuff like that, but still caring for each other and stuff. Everything that we've seen during Nisemonogatari, imagine seeing that without knowing the context. That would have been so interesting. But also now I am glad that I do know the context, because I feel like it makes it a more cohesive, I guess, experience. It makes it a lot more, everything makes sense this way. It's less mystery, but it's a lot more of a narrative point where it just further progresses the entire narrative, the entire story. And I feel like this is definitely a big turning point for Araragi and Shinobu's relationship from here on forward, right? because Shinobu finally decided to be, you know what? Even if I am a pseudo vampire now, I can still talk. We can still hang out. So that's cool. I really like that. I hope we're gonna be seeing her a bit more in the story. But yeah, either way. So now we're tackling not only the Karen B arc, we're also gonna be inadvertently tackling the entire Curse arc, which also ties in with the Nadeko Snake arc, and also Kaiki is gonna be present in the story because he's the one that afflicted Karen with the B. So many things, but let's see how we handle it. So if you wanna watch this uncut and unblurred, which, by the way, it's probably gonna be heavily blurred if we get any more episodes like the previous one, which I don't think we will, but just in case. The unblurred version is on my Patreon, which is down in the description. And without further ado, let's go into Nisemonogatari episode 5. Good. She has a fever, right? Oh. We're picking right up where we left off. She switched up real fast. Okay. This is gonna be important. Okay. That makes sense. Was that a Mona Lisa? Stalling for time. Platinum Disco? So it doesn't actually mean I'm as mad as the word platinum would make you think. That feels like a Japanese wordplay. I don't know what she means by that. I know Platinum Disco as the only other opening that I knew prior to watching this, apart from Rena's Circulation. Because it's just a banger. I think I heard the cover of it. I think it was probably like a VTuber cover. Who did it? Was it like Gura and Shion? I think so. I heard the cover of Platinum Disco before. So I have that one on my playlist. That's the only other opening that I do know. And it's an absolute banger. I never watched the visuals of it though, but the song is a banger. Dude, she's stalling so hard. Damn, going for the heart. She fell off her seat. Oh no. I'm sorry I asked. She's so mean. It's just a sibling argument. Speaking of being careful. I like the scream being completely in hiragana. Oh, that was cool. Ah, yes, the Excalibur. Well, 4 friends now. Actually, no, I think she likes it. Hanekawa is a bit. Dude, this is such a gorgeously animated opening. Probably the best animation, or my favorite one, I guess, so far. Interesting that Araragi also turns into bees. Kaiki!
しばらくは荒木カレンの話と言っても僕が羽川と月日の話を聞きそれを統合しての場面回想なので、実際とは少し違うのかもしれないけれど。ようこそお嬢さん、俺は海木。貝塚の貝に枯れ木の木だ。お前の名前を聞こうか。荒木カレンだ。小里編に可能性のか。よいよい。それに若木の木。火を憐れむでカレンだ。いい名だな。
Interesting. Because I'm pretty sure Araragi gave the a similar explanation of his name, but didn't he say that the gi in Araragi is supposed to be the tree? What's it called? The ginkgo tree? Is that what it's called? I guess a sapling and a tree is not. I mean, maybe it's just a subtle translation difference. And maybe she said the exact same thing that Araragi said, but I'm pretty sure like a ginkgo tree and a sapling are a bit of a different thing. But maybe, yeah, maybe it's just slightly different translation. I'm guessing she means the same thing because it's the same character. And he's a dead tree. Interesting. Charms. Very shallow, but fair enough. Why is that Araragi's hair? Getting awfully defensive, huh?
誰かに頼まれておくべきだったな。頼まれたとしても金なんかいらない。若いな。決して羨ましいとは思わないな。どうした？震えているぞ、あららに。震えてなんかいいね。あららに、お前は俺の目的を聞いたな。今度はお前の番だ。お前の目的は何なのだ？もう言ったろ。あんたを殴りに来たんだ。殴るだけか。蹴りもする。暴力か。武力だ。そして私はあんたのやっていることをやめさせる。中学生相手にアコギな商売しやがって何考えてんだ。それでも大人か。これでも大人だ。それにアコギな商売になるのは当たり前だ。俺は詐欺師だからな。
It's an interesting. That was an interesting distinction, I guess, that she was trying to make here. And I feel like it's kind of a bit of a dicey one. She said, like, because he was like, "Oh, so you're gonna do this through violence, right?" And she's like, "No, it's by force, right?" Which that's an interesting way to distinguish it. To be like, "No, I'm not. What I'm doing is not as bad as violence. It's using force to power through, right?" I feel like that's a bit of an excuse, but it's an interesting way to see how she's thinking about this entire thing, right? How she's trying to justify it. Interesting. Yeah, I mean. So, okay. They said in the previous episode that he. Now, I don't know which part, I don't know how metaphorical this was, because they said that he isn't a human, that he's almost like an oddity. So I don't know how much of that, yeah, is metaphorically speaking about it, or if he actually is some kind of being that's no longer human. Maybe he used to be human, he's no longer human, he became some kind of oddity himself, or yeah, he actually is a human. I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out. He just said that he is a human, and that he does age normally, so he's not something like, let's say, Araragi, who there would be a lot of conversations what he is, right? Is he a human? Is he an oddity? Is he a vampire? He's a human, but he's not only a human, you know. I wonder if Kaiki is similar, or if he's actually just a human and everything saying like everything that was said about him being an oddity and stuff like that is purely metaphorical. I wonder. Oh. Yeah, fair enough. That's cool.
随分と思い込みの激しいタイプと見える。今回の件からお前が得るべき教訓は、人を見たら詐欺師と思えということだ。人を疑うということを少しは覚えるのだが、俺が許しを請うとでも思ったのか。だとすれば愚かだ。俺を改心させたくば金を詰め、1000万円から議論してやろう。
何をした？私に何をした？
悪いことだよ。もちろん有料だ。金はもらう。4000円か。まあいいだろう。さっきの話の分はサービスしておく。電車代として小銭くらいは残しておく。ほら。なんだ、定期券があるのか。ならば小銭も不要だな。少しすれば毒が定着し動けるようにはなる。携帯を使って助けを呼ぶことを勧めるよ。俺はその間にトンズラするとしよう。もちろん商売は続けさせてもらうが、しかし直接顧客と会うのはこれからは避けた方が良さそうだな。いい教訓になった。ださらばだ。
Interesting. Interesting. So that's an interesting way to frame it once again. I feel like they've been trying to frame different ideas into like ways that fit them well. Kaiki saying that basically he's using money just in the same way that she's using righteousness as like a way to fight, as a way to pursue an ideal, which is really interesting. I mean, I get what he's saying. I do think then that when you incorporate morality into it, there's a bit of a different picture. Because obviously, if you actually no, I was gonna say if you look at the law, I get what he's saying because righteousness is usually not rewarded by law. But we're not talking even about that. We're talking about him conning kids, which should be illegal, right? So even by law, it's a different thing. But I guess at the end of the day, they're both trying to achieve their goal. One of them, or Karen, is trying to do it by being righteous. Kaiki says that he can also achieve those same results with money. So interesting perspective that they have. Obviously, so far, Kaiki doesn't seem like he's doing a very good thing. I would find it hard to justify him cursing children for money and also putting a bee that gives like Karen a huge fever because she was trying to, you know, help the kids. But he's really interesting. I love the team. I love the OST that plays. Oh my god, it's so like at times it's almost like a bit of a clown or a circus team, but also it's really unsettling at times, especially when it's slowed down like it was here. It's really cool.
怒ってるわけじゃない。
I really like her new haircut actually.
あのファイヤーシスターズに協力するなら僕にも教えてほしかったっていう文句は言いたいね。
だってその時こそ荒木くんは怒るでしょ。
Of course, that's what it means to have
私が個人的
siblings.
にカレンちゃんや月日ちゃんと友達になるのは自由じゃない？
自由だな。
だね。でもせっかくだから荒木くんにはカレンちゃんと月日ちゃんのことを黙っていたお詫びとしてこのチケットをあげましょう。
Okay, I'm gonna pause again. I know I'm pausing a lot, but one thing with this exchange that's really interesting, and I don't know if it's even me just looking way too deeply into it or if it's intentional, is I don't think Hanekawa, or of course she doesn't know how it feels to have like siblings, right? Especially younger siblings. The reason that Araragi wants to know about it is not because he wouldn't want Hanekawa to be friends with Kihi and Karen and stuff like that. The reason he would want to know about it is because he would want to be there to help them if anything were to happen, right? Like this. He would want to know in a split second that something has happened and his help is required. He wants to protect them, right? And I don't think Hanekawa completely understands that notion, right? Because to her, family is a very different concept than to someone like Araragi, right? Which is a shame, but you can definitely see a big disparity between their understanding of what a family, or not even understanding, but how they feel about family and family ties and stuff like that. Bro, that's a ticket for you, Hanekawa. Yeah.
まあ私のことはともかくとしてさ、荒木くん、あんまりカレンちゃんと月日ちゃんをいじめないであげてね。
大丈夫だよ。そっちも心配するな。
Once again.
あいつらがただのわがままでやってんじゃないことくらい分かってる。
そうなんだよね。同族嫌悪の話じゃないけど、あの子たちさ、やっぱ似てるんだよ。
Yep.
荒木くんと。
Very much so.
外見の話か。
外見じゃなくて中身の話だよ。
Yep.
まあ私もあんまり人のこと言えないけどね。
They do
そうだ。
also have a savior complex, even if it is a bit
僕たち
different.
兄弟のお前とじゃやっぱ違うけどな。
Yep. They're saying everything that I just said.
星野さん、今頃どうしてるかな。
さあ、でもきっとどこかで僕たちのことを見守ってくれているさ。あいつならきっとカレンちゃんのこととかあっさり解決しちゃうんだろうな。
Shinobu made.
火鉢
Oh,
って
actually.
のも
Yeah.
忍に聞く限りは随分レベルの低い怪異みたいだし。
Shinobu.
しのぶちゃん、かっこいい火鉢。
Ah, she didn't hear all the details yet.
かっこいい火鉢ね。でも荒木くんがしのぶちゃんと和解したってのはいい話だね。
悪い話ではないけどな。
まあ星野さんがこの町から出て行ったのも荒木くんにしのぶちゃんを任せられると判断したからだもんね。本当なら文化祭の直後に和解しててもおかしくなかったくらいだもん。
だとすると随分時間をかけてしまったもんだ。僕の怠慢と言っていいな。
荒木くんは怠慢なんてしてないよ。それは私がよく知ってる。
お前は何でも知ってるな。
何でもは知らないわよ。知ってることだけ。喧嘩っていうのは和解してからが大変なんだから、その辺の心得違いをしないでね。
Aww, cutie. I definitely see her in a way different light from after Nisemonogatari.
貸しとくから。
いいの？
Oh.
しないけど。じゃあ、ありがたく借りてあげましょう。明日返すね。
あ、
今日中に解決しときなさいよ。荒木くんは明日からまた受験勉強をやらなきゃいけないんだから。兄としての立場もいいけど、高校生としての本分を見失わないでね。
I think this is the only anime that I ever saw a girl going on a bike and then her fixing the skirt actually being animated as part of her going on a bike. Jesus Christ, man. They they do not need to animate all of those details, but God, I'm glad they do.
大げさだよ兄ちゃん。だから兄ちゃんには黙ってたかったのに、みんな口軽すぎ。熱くらいで心配しすぎだっつうの。
うるせえ。病人は黙って言うこと聞いてろ。なんか食べたいか？桃缶とか。
食欲かいもん。
そうだよ。髪ほどくぞ。
風呂入りてえ。汗がキモい。
髪。
ご自由に。
I like how it's moving by itself.
風呂は無理だけど、体を拭くくらいならしてやるぞ。
ああ、お願いするわ。不本意ながら。
そっか。じゃあまあ、服脱いでろ。おい、脱いでろって言ったろ？
ごめん、兄ちゃん。
あ？
ダリー。脱がせる。拭ける。そして着せる。
てめえ。
兄ちゃんに裸見られて恥ずかしい。
なんで合口を言うんだよ。
照れ隠し。
風呂上がり半裸で踊ってるやつが何言ってんだ。
踊ってる言うな。あれはエアロビクスだ。
背中を拭く。裏返れ。
めんどい。裏返せ。
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is completely normal for siblings. There's nothing weird because they're siblings or anything like that, but I'll be honest, I have a younger sister. This is something that I would never in a million years imagine happening ever. Especially at this age. Ain't no way. But you know what? Maybe they're just really close as a family.
不覚だよな、こういうの。
あ？
しさよりも強さが大切なことくらい分かってるよ。でも急に強くはなれないじゃん。だからって強くなるまでは目の前で起きてる不正を見逃すなんてことはできないし、私に流れる正義の血が悪を許さないんだよ。
お前は暴れたいだけだよ、僕から見りゃ。
そりゃ兄ちゃんから見ればごっこなんだろうけどさ。でもさ、怪奇伝習、そいつがどうして中学生の間であんな変なオカルトみたいなおまじないを流行らせたか、兄ちゃんももう月日ちゃんから聞いたんだろう。そう、お金のためだってさ。悪意を煽って不安を煽ってそこにつけ込んで、実際には何もしないままにお金をむしり取るんだ。恥ずかしくないのかって責めたら怪奇は私に言ったぞ。悪びれることなく言ったぞ。子供が相手だから騙しやすいって。
騙しやすい。
月日ちゃんの友達の戦国って子、あの子はなんだかすんげえ口が重かったけど、まあ何にしても兄ちゃんに助けられたらしいじゃん。でもそんなのこんな例でさ、怪奇が噂の発信源だとも知らないで怪奇に助けを求めて要求されたお金を払うために万引きして捕まった子だっている。兄ちゃんならそんなの許せるのか。そんな子を前にして自分はまだ強くないから何もしないってそんなセリフを言えるのかよ。あいつは金が全てだって言ったぞ。あんな漫画みたいなセリフ本当に言うやつがいるとは思わなかった。だって確かに金は大事だけど他にも大切なもんがあるはずだろ。愛とか。
Wow.
がかぶった。
金は全てじゃない。ほとんど。
Wait, let me go back to that.
だって確かにあいつは金が全てだって言ったぞ。
Let me reread this.
漫画みたいなセリフ本当に言うやつがいるとは思わなかった。だって確かに金は大事だけど他にも大切なもんがあるはずだろ。愛とか。
意見がかぶった。
金は全てじゃない。
I mean, you're really similar. Oh, okay, okay.
兄ちゃん、私や月日ちゃんはマジでやってんだよ。これに懲りたりなんかしねえ。もしもこの先にこれと同じことがあったら絶対同じことをする。私は結果的に負けたけど精神的には負けてねえ。そして次は勝つまでやる。勝てなくともやる。大事なのは結果じゃないはずだろ兄ちゃん。
試合に負けても勝負に勝つってやつか。武道に身を置くやつの言うこととは思えないな。
Lose the fight, but keep the high ground.
勝負にも負けてそれでも自分に負けなきゃ負けじゃねえ。それが私の武道なんだよ。
だけどお前がそういう姿勢でいる限り迷惑するのは周りなんだぜ。そんなことだからお前はいつまでたっても大人になれねえんだよ。
私はもう大人だ。見ろこのおっぱい。
羽川の半分もない。それがどうした？
翼さんってそんななの？
あれが本物だよ。分かってんだろうけどな。僕としては正直お前らに羽川と付き合ってほしいとは思わないんだけどな。いい機会だ。これからは
Yeah, fair enough.
いろいろと学べ。動くな、吹きづらい。
もういいよ、だいぶすっきりした。
ここまで来て遠慮すんなよ。
兄ちゃんに病気移しちまってもつまんねえ。
移す？ちょっと待ってろ。忍。
なんじゃい、わしはそろそろ
Is it
眠れる時間
contagious?
なんじゃがの。
ああ、じゃあお眠の前に一つだけ。あいつの病気を僕に移す方法ってないのか？病気っつっても根本的には怪異の毒だ。それにそもそも意図的に移されたものだ。だったらその毒をさらに僕に移し替えることもできるんじゃないのか？
病をお前様が背負おうと。あるはある。しかしわしとしては正直進められる方法じゃな。進められんというかひどく気の進まん方法じゃ。
リスクは承知だ。
リスクというかのまあそれはそれで都市伝説なのじゃが、確かあの小僧は全く違う文脈で言っておったような。
なんだよ、煮えない言い方だな。お前らしくもない。
どうじゃろうな。許されることなのかどうなのかわしとしては判断しかねる。
なんだか知らないが許されるに決まってるだろう。あいつの苦しみを癒す方法があるんならそれが何であれ実行するべきだ。
至極その通りじゃな。ならば好きにするがよい。 なんか知らないけれど、行くなら服着せてから行ってくれよ。
カレンちゃん、今からお前と
What?
キスす
Sorry.
るぞ。
Oh my god. Oh, wait.
カレンだぜ。
Cinema time.
一人だと寂しいぜ。誰だって風邪くらいひいたことあると思うけどさ、あれちょっと感じが不思議じゃね？風一文字じゃなくって、その後に横島ってつけるじゃん。いや、それ横島いらねえだろ。風だけでいいだろ。細かいこと言ってんなって自分でも思うし、吹く風と引く風で区別をつけるためなのかもしれねえけど、じゃあ漢字じゃなくて名前そのものを変えろっつうの。それとも昔はフージャって呼んでたのかな。はあ、フージャ。やべえ、なんか超かっこいい奥義みてえ。
Shave off one of my eyebrows.
最終奥義フージャ。次回カレン B。
Is there anything else?
そういや夏
Oh,
風
you
って
did.
ただの夏に吹く風みてえだよな。
Sure. Yo. Okay. One thing that I was thinking about during the entire sequence at the end, minus the last line of the episode, was so what, like, how realistically would you act if your sibling got something like this? And because, as I said earlier, I could not imagine doing, like, patting down my sister like that when she would be like, she would have like this much of a cold. If she did, or this much of a fever, if she did, I'm pretty sure I would in a millisecond either call an ambulance, or if I had a driving license back then, I would have drove her to a hospital, right? Because if you are so sick that you can't move, or it would be mom taking care of, right? If it's the sister, right? Just because at that age, everything is just so awkward, isn't it? But yeah, either way. Then he said the thing at the end, and I was like, okay, I think all normal theory about, or normal logic about siblings and stuff like that and families is not applicable in this situation. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, interesting. Wow, what an episode. So a lot of the things, I think I already said a lot of the things that I want to say about Hanekawa. I think that's really interesting, is seeing the different outlooks on families and stuff like that between Hanekawa and Araragi. Also, the entire confrontation between Karen and Kaiki was really, really interesting, basically detailing the entire, how the entire thing went down, the entire meeting between the two, confrontation, and how she got the B. And now I'm guessing Shinobu told Araragi that he could get the B from her and basically take it from her and put it on himself if he exchanged bodily fluids. So what a crazy turn of events. What a crazy guy. Okay, interesting. I actually really like, is like the correct word? I don't think like is the correct word. I find their relationship really interesting, the family dynamic, because in some points it is really, really sibling-esque. Like the banter that they have, and the like the arguments that aren't really arguments, that are just like empty arguments with like no actual repercussions, but the familial love and the protection that they chose, or like that they show one another, it feels very sibling-esque. It's just that they do take it to the extreme, obviously, because Nishio Ishin is just, he is just built like that, I guess. But yeah, banger of an episode, man. Oh, I'm so excited to see how this ends up concluding, or how this ends up escalating, or whatever. I don't know how many episodes this arc is gonna end up being, but I'm excited to see how this ends up going on from here on out. But anyways, I am going to end this one here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.